Avi Meyers here, and that was footage, of course, from the groundbreaking at Devon and Rockwell with Mayor Daley, as well as Alderman Stone, and it was really great to see.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson.
And by the way, my wearing this hat obviously will tell you I didn't go to Marty today. So this was a blizzard day. You know, I was outside all day wearing a ski cap. There's no way my hair's going to look any good. So
I got to say you did a good job shoveling the sidewalk. I was able to get in without getting my feet wet.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, and I want you to know I not only had you in mind, but also our next guest, who is Miguel Devalier, who's running for city clerk. Now, tell me, are you going to vote for him?
Oh, I'm voting for him. I hope you're voting for him.
Well, you know what? I want to tell you something. I happen to like the guy very much, and also Alan Klein, who I respect a lot, has told me that he's really an outstanding candidate, and Mayor Daley obviously has tremendous respect for him.
Former state senator who did a great job down in Springfield, and
actually a very major power in the state Senate. And
also went to the same high school I did.
Oh, he's a Sen graduate also?
No, we went to Thule High School.
Oh, Thule. Okay.
Okay.
Very good. And no, I definitely, as a matter of fact, we're going to have him on before the election. And
very good.
No, so you know, I'm voting for him. You're voting for him.
That's
Do you like him very much?
I do.
Okay, that sounds good. And by the way, I want to tell you something. If you take a look at Mayor Daley's choices, with all the different Hispanic people that you know, he definitely wanted to add somebody Hispanic to the ticket. And of all the people he could have possibly added, he felt that Mr. Devalier was the single most outstanding candidate.
And he truly is an outstanding candidate. And we've already had him up at the ward office. He ran an outstanding program helping our citizens get passports, and which was very popular. We're already talking about doing that program again.
Well, that sounds good. Now, in the meantime, by the way, those of you who watch the show on a regular basis know I never have any notes in front of me. What we have in front of me, for the most part, are really rotten things.
Not all of them.
Well, actually, there's a couple pieces from you. But we got some really rotten things that people, really negative things people are saying about you. Now, okay, here's my favorite. This is from Greg Brewer. Okay, Greg Brewer. And anyway, interesting individual. He's an architect with the firm of Owens, Skidmore, and Merrill, I think their name is.
Skidmore, Owens, and Merrill.
Okay. And by the way, a lot of it, he talks about his international stuff. That's like Dubai, Saudi Arabia. That's where his stuff is. And there's nothing positive about him there. He says really nasty things about you. And now what is it? You've got dirty streets, okay, overcrowded schools, no plans for the future, rude staff, ignored residents, and 34 years in office. Now, in synagogue yesterday, this was all the talk. And it was all the talk because what a mean piece this is. And on top of that, okay, and this is actually secondary, and by the way, any of you who are looking on the internet also know how mean Brewer's people have been. Now, what do they have there about a Jewish alderman? Okay, this is a Volkswagen, it's a burnt-out Volkswagen bus. Now, Greg Brewer wants you to know that it's time for a change, and shows you a beat-up, burnt-out Volkswagen. Now, Volkswagen, for those of you who don't know, that was a creation of Adolf Hitler, whose name shall be cursed forever.
The people's wagon.
Right, and you know, comparing like Alderman Stone in a bad way to a Volkswagen.
Look, what the SEIU is talking about, they say I changed the zoning law for his friends. Is they're talking about we changed the zoning law so people with large families could build additions on their homes. Now, it's not only in particular Orthodox Jews, but it's also Catholic families, which also have large families. It's for people who have large families, because I didn't want them to move to the suburbs. I wanted them to stay here in the 50th Ward. So If that's the nasty thing I did, guilty as charged. I'm guilty, but it wasn't for his friends, in quotes.
No, that's for sure. And by
that's one of the reasons, outside of the fact that one of Mr. Brewer's closest allies on his blog website called me Jew boy. That's why I say this campaign has deteriorated into a very, very dirty campaign, and is clearly anti-Semitic.
Well, they know they're going to lose.
You know, you have two of my pieces here. Now, it's two of the many. I want to point out that at no time on any of the pieces I have put out is there one word about any of my opponents.
And by the way, there's nothing derogatory about anybody.
I won't stoop to that, and I just won't stoop to it. That's all. In fact, this particular piece talks about the diversity of our neighborhood and how we get along. That we're Americans and we're all Americans, and this is Alderman Stone supports the diversity of our community, and that's what I believe in. I believe in tolerance, and I believe in getting along with people. I don't believe in putting people in boxes and dividing people. I believe in unifying people.
Well, you know what? And Jack Schlitz and his buddies are going to see this Volkswagen all over the place, burnt out. Well, you got the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No, I don't want to go ahead. I'm just horrified. There's been personal attacks on my family. And this business of accusing me, sometime during the next 2 years, the alderman is going to resign, and his daughter, the only reason he's running is so he can make his daughter the alderman. Why would they say that? Because somebody wants to cast an aspersion on me because other politicians have resigned in midterm and had members of their family, and this has been met with a lot of sarcasm by people. Why would you say that any politician is going to resign after he's elected? Why? Because I'm a senior citizen? Is that why you're casting these aspersions on me? Right from the start, I said I intend to fill out this entire term. Why do you say these things? Did I say that Nazy Dolar's husband is a police officer and that maybe the reason she's running for office is so she can advance him in the police department? I wouldn't say something like that, and I would never cast aspersions on somebody else. So why would you pick out my daughter? Why would you do what you did today? Send me a Valentine and with some dead flowers and paste it on the door of my office and say in your stupid Valentine, have a heart, Stone.
And by the way, this is from Brewers people.
Bernie must have a heart of stone. You know, this is babyish. This is sickening, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, these are mean people. One thing I've seen myself, and by the way, one thing I'd just like to say for myself, the two websites that have actionably libeled me that I mentioned on the show last week, I hope by this time you have removed it, because I have lawyers ready to move on you guys and take action. This is, you printed lies. Actionable libel means you printed lies with malice. And the things you've said about me are lies. The things you've said, well, most of what you guys put down there are lies. It's not even funny. It's ridiculous. And by the way, I want to tell you guys, 4 years from now, Alderman Stone's going to be here. Okay, 4 years from the date, or whatever the thing is when we're filming, talking about why you should vote for him 4 years from now, and probably 8 years from now, the same thing. We're going to beat, Vito Marzullo's record, and we're going to beat it.
You betcha. Look, I'm proud to be a senior citizen. I'm proud of the fact that I was inducted into the Senior Citizen Hall of Fame, and I have no intention whatsoever of resigning during this term of office, and I intend to
Or
run.
the next term.
And I intend to run again.
And you know what the ridiculous thing is for people like Brewer and Dolar. I'm not going to even get into the other guy. The other guy who's passed himself off, by the way, I'm not going to mention his name. Depending on where you go, he's Pakistani, he's Persian, he's Assyrian. Okay. And by the way, my friends tell me that Aftab is actually a Afghani name. You know, my Middle Eastern friends tell me that that's an Afghani name. And by the way, he was kicked out of. He was trying to pass himself off as an Assyrian Christian at St. George, and got kicked out of there a week ago Sunday.
Yeah, and I was there when it happened. And let me also say to you that I still have my doubts of where he lives. I don't know where he lives. I don't think he lives in the 50th ward.
Oh, by the way, we're not even mentioning things like the beer guy, Brewer, whatever his name is. He's been here, 5 years? Okay, and
6 now, I think.
Oh, could be 6. Okay, let's give him the credit. Let's say 6. Let's even say 7. I mean, lifelong resident. What can I say? Oh, Nazi Dolar, lifelong resident. Yeah, well, I'm going to worry about that. I'll leave that up to Jack Schlitz to say whatever he's going to say. But you know what? The fact of the matter is, you talk about accomplishments. Let's talk about accomplishments real quick. We've said things on other shows, you know, and we've only got about a minute and a half left here. You know, you talk about recent accomplishments. We're talking about Dillon's. Now, I don't think the Alderman's going to be playing at Dillon's anytime in the next year or two. I don't think it's self-interest. Okay, we have rebuilt Dillon's. He kept a major auto complex out of that land on Kedzie. He has stopped major development, you know, on the North Shore Channel land from coming into this neighborhood. As a matter of fact, if anything, the developers, which probably is one of the reasons for SEIU and all that, and these other awful unions, don't like him because he wants to keep the character of the neighborhood and not build these massive things. And
you know what I'm proudest of? It had nothing.
Please.
It had nothing to do with the 50th ward.
Okay.
I'm the guy who introduced the resolution that Chicago became the first city in the United States that welcomed home the Vietnam veterans and gave them finally the acknowledgement they so richly deserved. And Chicago was the first city that welcomed home the Vietnam veterans. Vietnam veterans were treated with disdain for many, many years, but back in 1984-85, we held the Welcome Home Vietnam Veteran Parade, and I'm the guy that introduced the resolution that welcomed them home. And I'm so happy I did it.
And I'm a big-time fan of that. At this point, we really are like just about out of time because we've got to run all this stuff with Mayor Daley. By the way, Mayor Daley, who clearly has endorsed Alderman, so I also want to mention, because we haven't mentioned this on the air, that all these independent, free-thinking voices that people respect, like, you know, from the Hispanic community, Miguel Devalier, as well as Gary Chico, former head of the Board of Education, not to mention Forrest Claypool, Mike Quigley, Larry Sufford. These guys are all backing Bernie Stone.
Every local official is backing me.
Mayor Daley has said clearly, Lou Lang, Iris Silverstein. Mayor Daley said clearly that Bernie Stone, and he said this 2 days ago, okay, like a week before the show is airing, that he is the voice of common sense in the city council and the building committee. Common sense. Forget this garbage from Brewer, 3.5-foot high ceilings on a parking garage. Nonsense. Vote for Bernie Stone for Alderman. Sonny Hersh says so. I say so. Chuck Chase says so. We all say, look, you got to be stupid not to. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Abby.
And we look forward to seeing you 4 and 8 years from now, also putting up for your election at those times.
Thank you very much.